Chosen one, pause, they gathered in silence. In rooms without windows. In circles that whispered your name like a curse they could not contain. Screens flickered. Maps unfolded. Messages sent at midnight. Every plan built on the illusion that heaven wasn't watching. They said, end them quietly. But heaven said, watch this. A massive ambush was set for you, not to break you, but to reveal who walks beside you. Every snare they crafted became the stage of your unveiling. Every lie they whispered built the platform for your truth. You were surrounded, yet untouched. Marked, yet protected. They thought they were plotting your fall, but they were rehearsing your resurrection. Listen, what they intended as your ending was the announcement of your calling. The shadows gathered thinking they were the hunters, but they were only the witnesses of your immunity. The meeting you were never meant to hear about happened. And heaven recorded every word. Even now, the evidence of that secret war stands as proof of divine intervention. You were never the victim. You were the bait heaven used to expose evil. You stood in the crossfire so that light could reveal every hidden hand. And when the trap was sprung, you didn't fall, the darkness did. Because what they intended for evil, God intended for good. Genesis 50 verse 20. Picture the night before it happened. The air felt heavier than usual, like creation itself was holding its breath. Streetlights flickered, conversations broke mid-sentence, and somewhere deep inside you, something whispered, stay still. It wasn't fear. It was alignment. The realm around you was rearranging itself, every force taking position. Emails were sent. Calls were made. Rooms filled with quiet instructions and digital blueprints of betrayal. But what they didn't know was this: before they planned the ambush, heaven had already written the counterscript. Every signal they sent out was intercepted by angels. Every door they locked had already been marked for your escape. The night wasn't ordinary. It was orchestration, a divine trap inside their deception. You couldn't see it, but the unseen was trembling. The moment they agreed on your downfall, light began recording. Every whisper echoed through eternity's courtroom. They gathered against you, but their unity was borrowed time. Because before their meeting began, your guardians were already there, standing in the corners of that secret room, silent, radiant, unmovable. They saw the charts, the plans, the signatures. And while the mortals plotted, heaven smiled. Because every ambush, when aimed at the chosen, becomes a rehearsal for deliverance. You were never alone that night. The chills in your spine weren't fear, they were radar. Your heartbeat was the sound of an army assembling. The unease you felt was not warning, it was prophecy confirming itself. They thought they were closing in, but they were only circling your miracle. And when dawn came, the trap was still there, but its teeth had turned to dust. Because heaven had already rewritten the ending while the darkness was still mid-sentence. They said you wouldn't make it through the night. They calculated your silence. They measured your breaking point. But what they didn't count on was covenant. Psalm 91 verse 11, for he shall give his angels charge over you, to keep you in all your ways. That wasn't poetry. That was a legal decree in the court of heaven. Long before their ambush was drafted, a command had already gone out: protect this one. Do not let them fall. And every celestial guard took position. While humans conspired in darkness, heaven mobilized in daylight. You were never outnumbered. You were simply out of sight. Your protection wasn't loud, it was legislative. Your name was filed under untouchable. Isaiah 54 verse 17 declares, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment, you shall condemn. Notice, the verse doesn't promise that weapons won't form. It promises they won't prosper. So yes, the meeting happened. The words were spoken. The screenshots were real. But the outcome? Already overruled. You think you survived by luck? No. You survived by law. Divine law, the unbreakable clause that says, this one is marked for destiny, not destruction. The ambush wasn't your ending. It was your evidence. Heaven needed a case file that would prove, once and for all, that you cannot curse what God has called. You didn't escape the trap released you. Because it realized too late, you were never the prey. You were the prophecy walking through danger untouched. So if you're hearing this now, and you've survived storms that should have drowned you, this is your confirmation. You are not paranoid. You are protected. You are not losing it, you're being led. The tension you feel is the sound of spiritual promotion. Heaven uses ambushes to reveal immunity. Your scars are signatures of grace. Your near misses are reports of angelic accuracy. This is not the end, this is Exhibit A of your divine insurance. And if something inside you knows this is your word, if you've walked out of chaos that had your name on it, click join. Stand among survivors who turned setups into sanctuaries. You are not paranoid, you are protected. You might have felt it before the storm had a name. A sudden tightness in your chest. A chill with no temperature. The kind of silence that makes the air vibrate. That wasn't fear, that was sonar. Your spirit was picking up a frequency your mind hadn't decoded yet. Some nights, you woke up at 3 a.m., heart racing, no reason, no noise. That was your internal alarm system. Heaven's early warning network pulsing through your bloodstream. Angels don't always speak in words, sometimes they borrow your heartbeat. Remember when you lost your appetite right before the betrayal? When laughter felt forced, and your energy shifted? That wasn't mood, it was motion. Something in you was dodging spiritual debris. When friends grew distant without explanation, when messages stopped, when rooms went quiet, it wasn't rejection. It was redirection. Heaven was thinning your circle before the trap could close. Your body isn't fragile, it's prophetic. The goosebumps, the racing pulse, the uneasy dreams, these are translations of spiritual data. Your intuition is not paranoia, it's surveillance from another dimension. You sensed danger without evidence because grace was whispering, prepare, but do not fear. Even the anxiety had purpose, it was heaven's way of steering you out of alignment with ambush energy. You call it a gut feeling. He calls it guidance. Think back, the day you almost went, but didn't, the event you skipped for no reason, the message you delayed answering, the wrong turn that led you right. Those weren't coincidences. Those were interceptions. Every skipped step was a shield. Every cancellation was a coded rescue. Even your exhaustion was divine. Heaven will make you too tired to walk into certain traps. So now, when your body warns you, don't dismiss it. When peace suddenly leaves a room, follow it out. When tension rises for no reason, step back. You're feeling the echo of unseen conflict. Your nervous system remembers what your eyes never saw. The shiver, the pulse, the pause, they were all evidence that angels were already moving. You didn't imagine it. You intercepted it. The next time you sense that invisible pressure, smile. Because you now know what it means, heaven's radar still works. They didn't attack you because you were weak. They attacked you because you shifted the timeline. Every chosen one carries a calibration code, a divine update sent to correct corrupted systems. When you awakened, their illusion started to crack. And the darkness panicked. The moment you said no more, entire structures began to shake. When you stopped repeating cycles, chains began to report system failure. You didn't just change your life, you rewired the battlefield. Every silent decision you made sent shockwaves through dimensions that profit from your silence. Understand this, ambushes happen when deception loses control. When manipulation can no longer seduce you, it must attempt to destroy you. You became the mirror they couldn't stand to see. Your clarity exposed their chaos. Your peace ruined their narrative. Your endurance humiliated their expectations. That's why it intensified. That's why it felt coordinated. Because it was. Hell promotes its panic through organization. But even organized darkness collapses under divine timing. You were never random. You were strategic placement. A divine infiltration disguised as vulnerability. While they thought they had you cornered, heaven was positioning you for revelation. They came for you because you became a breach in their pattern. The moment you chose light, you became a leak in the dark network. And they scrambled to patch it, but it was too late. Because one awakened soul rewrites an entire generation. One chosen one shifts the frequency of families, bloodlines, and nations. And when you stood up, timelines shifted. Destinies recalibrated. The game ended. So don't ask, why me? Ask, why now? Because if the ambush was this massive, then the assignment must be monumental. The attack was the receipt of your impact. They only aim for targets that matter. The plan has already failed. You just haven't been told yet. While they were still whispering, heaven was already rewriting the script. Before the first lie was spoken, truth had already declared its verdict. The ambush didn't explode, it imploded. Their coordination collapsed under its own corruption. Even now, those who once moved in unity against you can't look each other in the eye. Their alliance fractured. Their agreement dissolved in confusion. Because light does not argue, it exposes. And once light enters, darkness loses its cohesion. Look closely, calls unanswered, group chats silenced, sudden tension among those who once shared a mission. The network turned on itself. They're not talking about you anymore, they're talking about what went wrong. You didn't need to fight back. Your stillness was the sabotage. The power they thought they had was revoked the moment you refused to react. Every curse they uttered returned to sender, not as revenge, but as revelation. Now they see it. Now they know. The ambush was never about destroying you, it was about unmasking them. Heaven used your name as the detonator to reveal what was hidden in plain sight. The trap triggered itself. The darkness declared its own defeat. So breathe. You're already past the danger. The smoke you smell is not your ruin, it's the residue of a failed conspiracy. The plan has already failed. You're standing in proof of it. You are not the hunted. You are the headline. Heaven didn't just protect you, it presented you. You are the evidence of what cannot be destroyed. When they counted you out, God made you a public record of preservation. You weren't hidden to stay safe, you were hidden to mature. He covered you until the right time, and then uncovered you as the living proof of his precision. Your story isn't about survival only, it's about strategy. Every close call, every betrayal, was part of the curriculum of your coronation. You thought you were being isolated, but you were being announced. Silence was your spotlight. Delay was your disguise. Now look at you, still standing, still glowing, still sane, after things that should have rewritten your name into tragedy. You are the sermon no one saw coming. You are what divine protection looks like in human form. You didn't just walk out, you walked out carrying revelation. You are the walking headline that reads, Proof, Grace Works. Heaven could have kept your rescue private, but it chose to make it public. Because your deliverance wasn't only for you, it was for those watching to see if faith still functions in modern times. That's why it happened so visibly. That's why rumors reached your ears. That's why silence broke at the exact moment truth emerged. You were the experiment, and the outcome exceeded their logic. The fire didn't burn you, it branded you with authority. So when people stare, let them. When they whisper, smile. You are the prophecy fulfilled in plain sight. Heaven used your survival as a statement. This is what happens when I am for someone. You are not the victim. You are the verification. Now the proof begins to show. Not in visions, but in outcomes. You'll start noticing people pulling away without reason. That's not loss, that's release. Heaven is quietly uninstalling those who carried hidden access. Opportunities that once resisted you will begin to unfold on their own. Doors that refuse to open will now swing without a handle. Projects delayed will suddenly accelerate. This is what happens when interference is removed from your timeline. Some who once plotted will begin to apologize, not with words, but with silence. They won't know why they lost interest in harming you. It's because heaven reprogrammed their intent. Their motives expired. Watch the pattern. Emails that once stressed you will stop arriving. The meetings that drained you will get canceled. The conversations that carried poison will lose their flavor. You'll see confusion enter the camp that coordinated your pain. Their strategies will crumble into disagreement. The same tongues that united against you will start contradicting one another. That's not gossip, that's collapse. And in the middle of it, you'll feel a strange calm. A peace that doesn't match the chaos around you. That's the mark of divine insulation. The favor returning to your life will feel unfair, and it should. Because you're being repaid for warfare you didn't start. Expect sudden invitations, new alliances, doors that only open when destiny is in session. These are not coincidences. They're collapse reports from defeated plots. When things start working too easily, don't question it, you've earned the smooth path. Heaven has cleared the debris. Every delay that once frustrated you was a traffic stop to protect you from a crash. Now the route is open, and acceleration will be your new normal. These are the aftershocks of victory. The visible signatures of invisible defense. This is what divine aftermath looks like. There comes a moment when silence isn't enough, when gratitude has to take form. Not as payment, but as prophecy. If you're hearing this, and something inside you knows you shouldn't have made it this far, this is that moment. You're standing in the aftermath of what was meant to end you. The ambush collapsed. The lies dissolved. And you, still breathing, still chosen, are the living receipt of divine protection. Now heaven invites you to mark it. To put a signature on your survival. Click Super Thanks. Sow your $20 seed, not to buy a blessing, but to broadcast your gratitude. This is not a transaction. It's a declaration. It's your way of saying, I saw what tried to kill me, and I saw who saved me. The number doesn't move heaven, your faith does. And faith has always been loudest when expressed. It says, I'm not hiding from what happened, I'm honoring what didn't. Because gratitude turns trauma into testimony. It seals the story. It says to heaven, record this day, the day I gave thanks for what didn't break me. When you move in faith, heaven moves in confirmation. The same God who turned their plot into your platform will turn this act into your next promotion. So if your spirit is still trembling with recognition, if your heart knows this word was written with your name hidden inside it, don't just listen, respond. Click Super Thanks now. Write in the comments, I'm still here, and I'm grateful. Let heaven mark your survival with your own voice. Walk lighter now. The war is over. The weight you still feel isn't yours, it's residue from a battle already won. Breathe differently. You don't need to flinch at every sound anymore. Your spirit has been retrained to expect peace. When guilt whispers, you should have fought harder, remember, heaven fought perfectly. You were never meant to swing the sword. You were meant to stand and witness the victory. Stop replaying the betrayal. It's not a movie, it's a museum. You visit it only to remember how far you've come. Don't decorate trauma, document triumph. Let quiet become your language. You don't have to explain what heaven already justified. Every rumor dies when it runs out of your attention. Silence is not weakness, it's spiritual royalty refusing to argue with peasants of the past. Rest deeper. Your sleep is now sacred space. God fought that war while you were awake, He'll restore you while you rest. Keep your eyes forward, nostalgia is a net. The future you're stepping into has no room for revenge. The greatest vengeance is elevation. Nothing confuses your enemies like peace. And when the old pain tries to visit, greet it kindly, then let it pass. It's just checking if you're still available for suffering. You're not. Celebrate quietly. The loudest victory is a calm spirit. You survived ambushes, betrayals, storms, and you didn't lose your compassion. That's proof you're healed. Your new assignment is not survival, it's stewardship. Protect your peace as fiercely as heaven protected you. Speak less. Shine more. Move like someone who's already been seen by God. Because you have. And once heaven has witnessed you in warfare, you never need to prove yourself again. Take a breath. You made it. Not by chance. Not by luck. But by decree. This is where the story shifts from survival to sovereignty. You have been tried, weighed, and proven. Every scheme that rose against you became scaffolding for your elevation. And now heaven pauses to honor the endurance that refused to break. Bow your head for a moment. This is holy ground. Prayer. Lord, thank you for turning traps into testimonies. For standing between me and every shadow that thought it could silence my name. For taking what was meant to bury me and using it to announce that I'm still alive. Thank you for divine interference. For the angels that moved faster than my fear. For the unseen hands that pulled me from chaos and placed me back into clarity. I bless the night that tried to end me, because it taught me how light never loses. I bless the silence that scared me, because it trained me to hear heaven's whisper. Let every chosen one under the sound of this word walk fearless into their future. Let them remember that no ambush succeeds against the anointed. Let their names become proof of divine surveillance, watched, guarded, loved, and pre-approved for purpose. Turn every scar into strategy. Turn every delay into divine timing. And let every enemy who meant them harm see mercy and tremble at grace. We declare it finished. We declare it reversed. We declare it redeemed. In the name of the one who makes all things new, Amen.